The music industry has always been filled with drama, but nothing could have prepared fans for what just dropped. In a shocking development that has sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond, R&B icon Usher has allegedly broken down in court, revealing a traumatic experience from his teenage years involving none other than Sean "Diddy" Combs. This isn't just another celebrity headline. It's a deeply emotional story that may change how we view power dynamics in the entertainment world forever. Usher, known for his smooth vocals and clean-cut image, has long been respected as one of the genre's greatest talents. But behind the scenes, it seems he carried a secret for decades, one that finally came pouring out in a courtroom setting. The details are heartbreaking, and the implications could be massive. So, what exactly happened when Usher was just 14 years old? And why is this coming out now? As rumors spread and social media erupts, we're diving deep into the full story. What led to this moment, what was said, and what it means for both Usher and Diddy moving forward. If you're ready for the truth, keep watching because what we're about to share might leave you speechless. Born in Dallas, Texas, and raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee, before moving to Atlanta, Usher Raymond IV showed musical talent from a young age. His mother recognized his gift early on and moved the family to Atlanta to give him better opportunities in the music industry. By the time he was just 13, Usher had already caught the attention of record executives. He signed with Layface Records in 1992, a label co-founded by L.A. Reid and Babyface, two of the most influential figures in R&B at the time. His self-titled debut album dropped in 1994 when he was only 15, showcasing a maturity in both voice and style far beyond his years. Though it didn't become a blockbuster hit, it laid the foundation for his future success. Usher quickly became known for his vocal prowess, smooth dance moves, and charismatic stage presence. He wasn't just another teen act, he was seen as the next big thing in R&B. With songs like Think Love and Can You Get With It, he started building a loyal fan base. However, it was his second album, My Way, released in 1997, that truly launched him into stardom. Tracks like You Make Me Wanna and Nice and Slow solidified his place as a leading voice in the genre. At just 18, Usher was already a household name, but behind the scenes, the pressures of fame were starting to take their toll. Usher's career trajectory took a sharp upward turn when he crossed paths with Sean "Puffy" Combs, later known as Diddy, a powerhouse producer, rapper, and entrepreneur who was reshaping the music industry with his unique vision. Their first real collaboration came around the late 90s, when Usher was still navigating the transition from teen star to adult artist. Diddy saw potential in Usher and sought to elevate his image, bringing him into the fold of Bad Boy Records for certain projects. At the time, Diddy was known for his larger-than-life persona, unmatched business acumen, and a knack for turning artists into superstars. For Usher, who was still relatively young and impressionable, this mentorship felt like a golden opportunity. Diddy introduced him to new circles, helped refine his sound, and pushed him to explore more mature themes in his music. Publicly, their relationship seemed symbiotic. Usher gained credibility and exposure, while Diddy added another rising star to his growing roster. Behind closed doors, however, things may not have been as harmonious. Reports and insider accounts suggest that Diddy often exerted significant control over the artists under his influence, sometimes blurring the lines between mentorship and manipulation. For Usher, who was still finding his footing in the industry, this dynamic would soon lead to a life-altering encounter that he kept buried for decades. What allegedly happened between Usher and Diddy when Usher was just 14 years old remains one of the most disturbing revelations to ever surface about the music industry. According to the dramatic courtroom testimony that recently shook the public, Usher recounted a deeply personal and traumatic event that occurred during a private meeting with Diddy. The incident reportedly took place in a hotel suite after a recording session, where Usher claimed he was left alone with Diddy under circumstances that made him feel increasingly uncomfortable. Details remain sparse due to legal sensitivities, but sources close to the case suggest that Usher described being pressured into situations that made him feel trapped and vulnerable. He reportedly spoke of feeling confused, afraid, and unsure of how to respond as someone he had looked up to began crossing boundaries that should never have been breached. The emotional weight of the experience stayed with him for years, manifesting in moments of anxiety, self-doubt, and even depression. Usher allegedly told the court that he tried to suppress the memory, believing that speaking out would damage his career or worse. He wouldn't be believed. The betrayal of trust from someone he once idolized left scars that no amount of fame or fortune could heal. This alleged incident would go on to shape parts of his personality, influencing how he viewed authority figures and mentors throughout his life. It's a harrowing account that, if true, forces us to reevaluate the hidden costs of early fame and the dangers of unchecked power in the entertainment world. For years, Usher carried the burden of silence, choosing not to speak out, despite the emotional turmoil he faced. There were many reasons behind this decision, rooted in fear, shame, and the complex realities of the entertainment industry. As a young black man trying to navigate a cutthroat business dominated by powerful figures, Usher may have felt that speaking out against someone as influential as Diddy would result in professional ruin. The music industry has long been criticized for its lack of accountability when it comes to allegations of abuse, harassment, or misconduct, especially when high-profile individuals are involved. Many victims have come forward in recent years only to face backlash, skepticism, or even threats. Usher, at the peak of his career, likely understood the risks all too well. Coming forward with such a sensitive and damaging accusation could have derailed his entire trajectory, costing him endorsements, record deals, and the support of fans who preferred to see him as a polished, untouchable figure rather than a vulnerable human being. Beyond the external consequences, there was also the internal battle, the guilt, confusion, and trauma that often prevent survivors from speaking out. The psychological impact of such an event can linger for decades, creating a cycle of silence that's difficult to break. Usher may have convinced himself that no one would believe him, or worse, that he somehow deserved or provoked what happened. It wasn't until much later, perhaps after years of therapy, reflection, and witnessing others bravely share their own stories, that he found the strength to confront the past and seek justice. The moment Usher decided to break his silence came after years of internal struggle and mounting pressure from both within and outside his circle. It wasn't a sudden decision. It was the culmination of decades of suppressed pain, countless sleepless nights, and the realization that remaining silent only allowed the cycle to continue. The final push may have come from the Me Too movement, which empowered countless survivors across industries to come forward with their stories, regardless of how long ago the incidents occurred. Usher reportedly confided in close friends and eventually reached out to legal counsel, seeking guidance on whether there was any viable path to holding Diddy accountable. After consulting with attorneys specializing in cases involving historical abuse and understanding the evolving legal landscape surrounding such matters, Usher reportedly made the heart-wrenching decision to file a lawsuit. The courtroom appearance itself was described as emotionally devastating. Witnesses claim that Usher sat composed at first, but as he began recounting the events of that fateful night, his composure cracked. He reportedly broke down in tears, struggling to get the words out as the weight of the past crashed over him. The judge paused proceedings multiple times to allow him to regain his composure, and some jurors were visibly shaken by the raw honesty in his testimony. His words painted a vivid picture of a frightened teenager who had nowhere to turn, forced into a situation he was unprepared for. It was a moment that not only exposed painful truths about his past, but also reignited a national conversation about power, consent, and the vulnerability of young artists in the entertainment industry. The courtroom revelations sent shockwaves across social media and the broader entertainment world, triggering an immediate and intense reaction from fans, celebrities, and influencers alike. Within minutes of the news breaking, hashtags like #BelieveUsher and #JusticeForUsher began trending on Twitter, with thousands of users expressing outrage, empathy, and support for the singer. Fans flooded comment sections and forums, sharing heartfelt messages about how Usher's bravery resonated with them personally. Some recalled how they grew up listening to his music, seeing him as a role model, and now felt even more connected knowing the struggles he endured. Meanwhile, fellow musicians and public figures began weighing in on the situation. Several artists known for advocating survivor rights publicly voiced their support, praising Usher for his courage in coming forward. Others, particularly those who had worked closely with Diddy in the past, remained quiet, seemingly cautious about getting involved in such a delicate matter. Memes and viral clips emerged almost instantly, some serious, some humorous, but all centered around the gravity of the moment. One particular quote from Usher's testimony went viral. "I trusted him. I looked up to him. And he used that trust to hurt me." That line was shared across platforms, sparking discussions about mentorship, power imbalances, and the responsibility of industry leaders toward young talent. While the majority of reactions leaned toward sympathy and solidarity, there were also skeptics and critics questioning the timing and motives behind the lawsuit. Still, the overwhelming sentiment was one of admiration for Usher's willingness to face his past head-on and fight for justice, no matter the cost. Diddy's response to Usher's allegations has been met with widespread scrutiny and debate. Immediately following the courtroom revelations, Diddy's legal team issued a formal statement denying all claims and labeling them as baseless and opportunistic. The statement emphasized that these accusations were decades old and suggested that they were part of a broader effort to tarnish Diddy's legacy amid ongoing legal troubles. However, many critics pointed out that denial without concrete evidence or a direct address to Usher's emotional testimony did little to quell public concern. Some legal analysts noted that Diddy's approach mirrored strategies commonly used by high-profile figures facing similar allegations: delay, deflect, and discredit. In the days that followed, Diddy remained largely silent on his personal social media accounts, fueling speculation about his next move. Meanwhile, insiders reported that Diddy was preparing a more detailed legal defense, potentially including character witnesses and counterclaims aimed at discrediting Usher's narrative. These tactics, while standard in defamation and civil cases, raised ethical concerns among advocates for survivors, who argued that such responses could further traumatize victims and discourage others from speaking out. On the flip side, Diddy's supporters rallied behind him, citing his contributions to hip-hop and philanthropy as reasons to doubt the allegations. Yet, the sheer emotional weight of Usher's testimony and the growing cultural shift toward believing survivors placed immense pressure on Diddy to offer a more transparent and empathetic response, if not for the court, then for public perception. The legal implications of Usher's allegations against Diddy are complex and multifaceted, raising important questions about statute of limitations, evidence preservation, and the challenges of pursuing justice for historical abuse. Since the alleged incident occurred when Usher was just 14 years old, decades have passed since the event in question. In many jurisdictions, statutes of limitations for civil and criminal cases involving childhood sexual abuse have been extended or eliminated altogether in recent years, allowing survivors more time to come forward. Legal experts speculate that Usher's case may fall under these expanded laws, depending on the state where the incident allegedly occurred. Additionally, courts have increasingly recognized the psychological barriers that prevent survivors from reporting abuse immediately, acknowledging that trauma can delay disclosure for years or even decades. This precedent could work in Usher's favor, especially if his legal team presents expert testimony on the long-term effects of childhood trauma. Another key factor will be the availability of supporting evidence. While physical proof may be limited due to the passage of time, corroborating witness statements, medical records, or testimonies from other survivors could strengthen the case. In recent years, several high-profile cases have demonstrated that patterns of behavior, especially when multiple individuals come forward with similar experiences, can significantly impact legal outcomes. If Usher's lawsuit opens the door for others to step forward with related claims, it could dramatically shift the legal landscape surrounding Diddy. Ultimately, whether this case proceeds to trial or settles out of court, it serves as a powerful reminder of the evolving legal protections for survivors and the increasing willingness of courts to hold powerful individuals accountable for past actions. Despite the intense media scrutiny and the emotional toll of revisiting such a painful chapter, Usher continues to maintain a strong presence in both the music industry and the broader cultural conversation. Known for his resilience and dedication to his craft, Usher has channeled his energy into creative projects and advocacy work, using his platform to support survivors of abuse and encourage open dialogue about mental health. He has reportedly been undergoing therapy for years, working through the trauma that stemmed from his early experiences in the industry. In interviews, he has spoken candidly about the importance of healing and self-care, emphasizing that recovery is a lifelong journey. Professionally, Usher remains a force in music, continuing to tour, release new material, and mentor younger artists. His Super Bowl halftime show performance earlier this year was widely praised, reaffirming his status as a living legend in the world of R&B. More importantly, he has become a vocal advocate for those who have suffered in silence, encouraging others to seek help and speak out when they feel ready. His decision to pursue legal action against Diddy wasn't just about personal closure. It was a message to countless others who have endured similar pain, that they are not alone and that their voices matter. Whether or not the case leads to a conviction or settlement, Usher's bravery in stepping forward has already sparked meaningful conversations about power, accountability, and the need for systemic change in the entertainment industry. What we've covered today is more than just a celebrity scandal. It's a deeply human story about trauma, courage, and the long road to justice. Usher's decision to speak out after decades of silence is a testament to the strength it takes to confront the past and fight for what's right. His testimony in court has opened a floodgate of emotions, discussions, and reflections, not just about his experience, but about the broader issues of power, mentorship, and accountability in the entertainment industry. If you or someone you know has gone through something similar, remember that you are not alone. Speaking out is never easy, but it is powerful. We hope this video has given you insight, awareness, and maybe even inspiration to reflect on your own experiences or support those who are brave enough to share theirs. If you found this content informative or impactful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another update. Let us know in the comments below. What do you think about Usher's decision to come forward? Should more survivors be encouraged to speak out? Share your thoughts. We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the biggest stories shaping our culture.